I hid in the bushes, waiting for the time to pass. It was a little before noon on March 9th, 1974, and I was on a slope about 2 hours away from Wakayama Point. My plan was to wait until the time of the evening when it is still just possible to tell one face from another and then approach Wakayama Point rapidly in a single maneuver. Too much light would mean danger, but if it were too dark, I would not be able to make sure that the person I was meeting was really Major Taniguchi. Also, late twilight would be a good time for making a getaway if I should have to. Just after 2 in the afternoon, I crept cautiously out of my hiding place and crossed the river above the point. Making my way through a grove of palms that ran along the river, I soon came to an area where the islanders cut trees for building. At the edge of a clearing, I stopped and looked the place over. I could see nobody around. I supposed that the workers must be taking the day off, but to be on the safe side, I camouflaged myself with sticks and dried leaves before dashing across the shelterless area. I crossed the Agkawayan River and reached a position about 300 yards from the appointed spot. It was only about 4 o'clock, so I still had plenty of time. I changed to a camouflage of fresh leaves. There used to be paddy fields at the point, but now it is a grassy plain with a palm tree here and there. Along the river grow bamboo and shrubs. I started up a little hill from which I would be able not only to look down on the point, but to keep an eye on the surroundings. This was the place where I had met and talked with Norio Suzuki 2 weeks before. Just 2 days earlier, a message from Suzuki asking me to meet him here again had been left in the message box we had agreed on, and I had come. I was still afraid it might be a trap. If it was, the enemy might be waiting for me on the hill. I proceeded with the utmost caution, but saw no signs of life. At the top of the hill, I peered out from among the trees and bushes, and on the edge of the point where Suzuki had put up his mosquito net, I saw a yellow tent. I could make out a Japanese flag waving above it, but I could not see anybody. Were they resting in the tent? Or were they hiding somewhere else, waiting for me to show up? After 30 tense minutes, during which there was no change, I came down the slope and approached a spot only about 100 yards from the tent. I shifted my position a little to get a different view, but still I saw no one. I decided they must be in the tent and settled down to wait for sunset. The sun began to sink. I inspected my rifle and retied my boots. I was confident. I could have walked to the tent with my eyes shut, and I felt strong because I had rested while keeping watch. I jumped over a barbed wire fence and made for the shade of a nearby bosa tree, where I paused, took a deep breath, and looked at the tent again. All was still quiet. The time came. I gripped my rifle, thrust out my chest, and walked forward into the open. Suzuki was standing with his back to me, between the tent and a fireplace they had rigged up by the riverbank. Slowly he turned around, and when he saw me, he came toward me with arms outstretched. "It's Onoda," he shouted. "Major Taniguchi, it's Onoda." In the tent, a shadow moved, but I went forward anyway. Suzuki, eyes bursting with excitement, ran up to me and with both hands clasped my left hand. I stopped about 10 yards from the tent, from which there came a voice. "Is it really you, Onoda? I'll be with you in a minute." I could tell from the voice that it was Major Taniguchi. Motionless, I waited for him to appear. Suzuki stuck his head in the tent and brought out a camera. From inside, the major, who was shirtless, looked out and said, "I'm changing my clothes. Wait just a minute." The head disappeared, but in a few moments, Major Taniguchi emerged from the tent fully clothed and with an army cap on his head. Taut down to my fingertips, I barked out, "Lieutenant Onoda, sir, reporting for orders." "Good for you," he said, walking up to me and patting me lightly on the left shoulder. "I've brought you these from the Ministry of Health and Welfare." He handed me a pack of cigarettes with the chrysanthemum crest of the Emperor on them. I accepted it and, holding it up before me in proper respect for the Emperor, fell back 2 or 3 paces. At a little distance, Suzuki was standing ready with his camera. "Major Taniguchi said, I shall read your orders."